Enough for free. Let's bring you another one of those excellent speakers. So we have the marvelous Donna Lopez coming back, who, if you've been here all day, and quite frankly, if you haven't been, why not? She's back to chat with an amazing beauty brand. So if you missed it earlier, I'll forgive you just this once. But Donna has had a counter to corporate career in beauty, doing everything from selling face-to-face to customers right through to turning an indie brand into a major industry player in just 18 months. This is a lady you guys need to be learning from. With her new business, Making Lemonade, she's now on a mission to educate and inspire the next generation of beauty bosses. And that's exactly why she's back with the chat she's about to be having. So let's bring Donna up on screen. Hello again, Donna. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm back again. How are you guys?
We're good. We have covered a lot since you were last here, but I have to say, I do love a chat with a merchant, so I'm looking forward to this one. So I'm going to bring Tiila on as well. Hello, Tiila. You're currently self-muted, so if you could... brilliant. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Am I pronouncing Tiila correct?
It's actually Tiila.
Tiila. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry, my fault. So Tiila, Donna, I'm going to leave it to you lovely ladies.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone for joining this little chat. And of course, thank you to my amazing partner and in crime in the beauty space with Āether. She is one of my incredible clients and founders that I am honored to work with in many ways, but also call her a friend. And it's amazing to have you here. Thank you for joining this chat. So I'm just going to kind of let you sort of talk a little bit about Āether, and then I have a couple questions for you that I know that our audience is super eager to hear, but I know that the team would love to hear about who Āether is, what you stand for, who you are in relation to the brand, and then we'll get into some of my questions after.
Sure. Sounds good. Thanks so much for the amazing intro, Donna.
The queen, I left out the queen. Beauty product innovation. I left that part out, but I'm going to get into that in a second.
All good. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tiila, and I'm the founder of Āether Beauty. I used to be the head of product development for Sephora for over 7 years, in charge of their private label brand, their makeup collaborations and accessories. And then basically I started to have a disconnect with formulating conventional cosmetics and living an organic lifestyle. So I actually volunteered there and became their head of research and development for sustainability for all of Sephora. And in that role, I got to be pulled into when the merchants were ideating their clean category, and all these clean color brands were coming to present for options for Sephora to bring in. And I had never been so bored at meetings at Sephora. So you're used to seeing formula innovation and colors and trends and just being really inspired. And at the time, the space was really behind conventional beauty. And I am a conventional girl. I love Fenty. I love Natasha Denona. I love formula innovation. I love playing with makeup. I like color. And it was completely lacking for me. And I realized that a lot of the founders at the time, because the space has definitely changed, did not even come from the beauty industry. They didn't come from product development experience. A lot of people come into the clean sector because they get pregnant or they get a skin issue and they start peeling away the onion. But I had 7 years of product development under my belt and knew like the ins and outs of which manufacturers to work with. Really wanted to deep dive into sustainability because it was also a disconnect that people were launching these clean brands and not talking about sustainability, not attacking the issue. So I actually left in April 2018 and I launched my brand in June, and I'm completely self-funded. I was the only employee for over 2 years with my business. People always think I'm bigger than I am because the brand is at Sephora, Credo, Neiman Marcus, Anthropologie, Free People, as well as my own DTC. So I have a really strong retail background, but DTC for me and digital was completely new. I built my own Instagram following organically, and then just really got to a point where I was just like, I need help. I have no problem saying this is the space I do not have expertise in. And that's sort of how I was introduced to you. And that's where I am today.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that I was most excited about when I was, introduced to you as well was the fact that you were, really disrupting the space. Like when I look at clean beauty in general, and I am a sucker for powerful women who are disrupting spaces and challenging the norm. And I just couldn't resist. Like your brand just really spoke to me in a way, because one thing for me personally is that I was a merchant. So I've seen every product under the sun. I've also done product development for many companies, as you know. And one of the things that really spoke to me about your brand was that it was a clean, and obviously, like I would call it like clean to the umpteenth level, right? I mean, it's just the cleanest you could possibly be. And sustainable and everything else. But I think the thing that really spoke to me was that it was fun. It was beautiful. It was like, I was like treasuring the experience. And it's really hard to impress me with product.
Mm-hmm.
And so I speak about innovation a lot. And one of the things that I really was excited to bring you on to chat about is, the future of e-commerce and beauty, which is what really everybody has signed up here for this, for this conference. Of course, there's technology, there's a million things that you can do, there's disruption, but I really wanted to talk to you about innovation. Like, how do you inspire innovation in this industry in such a saturated space? Like, where was your aha moment in the journey where you knew beyond just sort of like, what you've already described, but these moments that you have of like, how do you really disrupt your space? And, one of the things that I found really interesting was that a lot of clean brands are very beige. They're very simple, basics, essentials, because it's hard to create product in clean that has the pigment, the shimmer, the duochrome, all the things that you look for. But at the end of the day, product is what the industry, what keep the consumers coming back for in this industry. Mm-hmm. So how do you, get into that space of innovation and really taking it to that level? And then also in the secondary part, how would you basically inspire the next generation of innovators? How do you inspire them to kind of think beyond the box?
Sure. So when it comes to really sort of connecting with your client and making like a really great brand, I really believe in like a 360 approach when it comes to branding and storytelling, and really sort of make a connection with the client. And that to me was actually realized really early when I was looking at the clean beauty space. I was like, there's nothing here. Everybody's Instagram looks the same. Everybody's packaging looks the same. There was no, I grew up in the world of Urban Decays with all these beautiful storytellings and trends. And like, you just have to like have the product, where these were just like all sets of neutrals and like just, in my opinion, I was like, the space is going towards clean. In like 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to be clean. There's going to probably be a new, trend or something else people are onto. And then what's going to be left with these brands if there's no real connection with the client? And everyone had like swatches on their arm and 3 different models, but there was nothing connecting her to that brand. And that to me was really important when I sat down to ideate the brand, which is how I came up with adding crystals into the formulation. So I wanted to add something different and standing out, but also to me, cosmetics is all about positivity. It's all about transforming and giving the client this immediate self-esteem boost. And that's such an important tool in people's lives with all this craziness going on in the world, like to be able to give your client the confidence to go out and do whatever she needs to do or he needs to do that day. It's so inspiring. So, crystals have such a amazing spiritual side to the stone, but they've been used in skincare for many years because they're basically minerals when you grind them down. And so they have these amazing skincare benefits. And so I actually put them in order to give these skincare benefits into the formula. For example, I launched with the rose quartz palette, and rose quartz can help prevent wrinkles, redness, and fine lines. But then you get the spiritual side that you can speak to the client and connect with her and like create some storytelling dialogue about self-love and being open to love and just really positive stories. For me, clean beauty always comes with a bucket of negativity when you're talking about it does not have X, Y, and Z. So, immediately it's like toxic and cancer and you're going to die and like all these terrible things. And like,
right.
Bring a positive spin to this space. So that's sort of how I wanted to ideate the brand and give a little bit more beef for the client to really sort of connect and have, a personal connection with the product and with me. So because the brand is so small and because, you know, I was wearing so many hats, I am the face of the brand. I am the one that does all the product development, all the packaging. And for me, people always ask about my product development. So especially like potential investors, they're always like, how do you get the product so great? And for me, it really has to do with the training that I got from the Sephora client. So back in the day, we used to watch the ratings and reviews like a hawk, and I still do, but I feel like, you know, influencers and all this stuff, it's a little more fluffy. Where back it was like all real reviews. And so you would immediately know if there's an issue with the product, right? If people love the product, if you have an instant hit or any of that stuff, and you take some of these comments with a grain of salt, but you can understand exactly what the client is looking for. And that to me taught me to really push my formulators and really sort of, you know, being part of LVMH, they have their own black list of ingredients you can't formulate with. It's not public facing, but you got used to swapping out ingredients. So I kind of took that lens to the clean beauty space because I was sick and tired of spending all this money on clean beauty products, spending the time to do my makeup, and then it being gone 2 hours later. And as a working mom, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, there's no way that I can continue doing this. And I just knew I could do it better. So that's sort of how I came into the space, but I'm constantly pushing. And the one thing people don't know is that so many people will tell you no, especially formulators, and there's always a way to figure it out. So, but you do it with a smile.
Totally.
You do it with a great relationship, and so they'll continue working with you. But I had such great relationships when I left Sephora. I've had so many people be like, what can I do to help you? Everything you do turns to gold. Like, we really want to support what you're doing. So I have really great relationships, which if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to be where I am right now.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things, there's a few things that you touched on that I just found, you know, again, it comes back to this idea of, you know, dual, like kind of like a synchronicity in storytelling, like allowing the product to speak for itself is one thing. Like, the product should be able to stand on its own. And especially as a new and indie brand, and I say this to brands all the time, when you're ideating a product, you know, yes, do you need marketing? Yes. Do you need all these things? Of course, but the product should be able to stand on its own. And if you have to over explain it, or if you have to over, you know, justify it, or you have to if there's anything that you have to work so hard to sell the product, like, that's probably not the right product. And the thing that I love about your brand is that you made it such a no-brainer, right? And it's like any point of resistance that you may feel as a consumer, because there's so many, you know, brands and products on the market, you just kind of come at them. It's like, wait, this has crystals in it. Wait, ethically. Oh, but is it not ethically sourced? Oh no, it's ethically sourced also. Oh, it doesn't have, you know, this ingredient, that ingredient. Like, the list just goes on and on. Like, there's just get to yes. And I think it's the easiest way that you can do that is to try to get to yes. And I think the way that you work with brands and your relationships, and like for new entrepreneurs or brands that are just starting out or brands that are struggling with innovation, I think listening to what you've said is so impactful, because you hear no all the time. I can't tell you how many times that when I've been working with a retailer, you know, a box partner, a brand, you know, a manufacturer, I get told no every single day. Nope, can't happen. Nope, won't happen. Nope, absolutely not. And I talked about this in my my presentation earlier, that you're going to hear no and resistance all the time. And the reality is, it's up to you as the entrepreneur. It's up to you as the founder, you as whatever role you're in within the organization, to do what you need to do to get to yes, right? And making that process, because the customer deserves it and the consumer demands it. Like, we're at a point now where, you know, the days of, you know, the lower standards don't work anymore. So you have to go above and beyond for the consumer every single day, and as you should want to. So it's just an interesting celebration, an interesting evolution. You touched on it earlier too, about clean becoming the new standard. Like, eventually clean beauty won't be a thing. It'll just be beauty, right? Like, we have to all catch up. Every brand has to catch up with this. And then what's the next step? So, I mean, you has already gone above and beyond that bar are, right? So like you already went to not only just clean, completely recyclable packaging, the first fully recyclable pallet, the first, recyclable. So how do you take that and get to the next level? And what's next for Āether? Because I'm so excited because I'm very honored to be a part of the journey. So selfishly, I'm just like so excited about it for everybody else to hear too, but it's amazing.
Thank you. I think actually just going back a little bit more when it comes to product innovation, you really need to know your space. You need to try every single product out there. You need to know why a certain formula is innovative and sort of how to get there. And I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I want to launch like a lipstick or something. And you just really have to understand what's out there. With both your experience and my experience, we got to try everything. So we sort of understood and we saw the cadence happen. So there's a lot of understanding and knowledge there to be able to bring it forward. But when it comes to, what's next, in this space, I mean, there's so many trends. There's blue beauty, which is sort of the next evolution of clean, and that is taking the environment into consideration. So that means no silicone, because silicone doesn't biodegrade in our environment, and people are talking about silicones being the next microbeads and things like that, as well as offering recyclable packaging. There's also this concept of slow beauty, which is slowing down the industry, which is very anti the entire industry, because every single day, how many, new product drops are there, but really being mindful of the product that you're putting out there and making sure, the product fill is pretty substantial. So you're not replenishing, again, like so anti the market, but you're not constantly replenishing because you're not bringing more packaging and waste to the space. Sustainability is such a hot topic, and so many brands are getting on the train, which is great. And that's a step in the right direction, but it's also, red flags as what has happened to clean, where there's no rules and regulations that people, claim X, Y, and Z, and it causes a lot of confusion in the space. It gets clients really angry in the space. So, I always tell brands to just start with one thing. Trying to become sustainable can be very overwhelming, but trying, just do a product life cycle and see what you can do with that one product, if there's like reduced water waste or what.
Yep. So we're getting kicked off again. I did earlier. She was like, she came in and cut me off earlier too, because I went over my much fun things to talk about.
I know, and I was just thinking, I was going, wow, there's still so much to happen in the beauty
Wild,
space.
right?
And you think about the last couple of years, how much it's come on. It's the last 3 or 4 years. 5 years ago, we weren't even talking about sustainability or eco, and it's just, it blows my mind, and I'm not even in the industry. It must be a phenomenal industry to be part of. Well, look, ladies, before we say goodbye to you, and as Donna said, kick you off the platform.
You're gonna drag us out of here.
That way, wouldn't it? How can those who want to connect with you, ask you questions, find out a bit more? How can they do that? Tiila, we'll go with you first.
Sure. So you can check out my website. So it's aetherbeautyco.com. And then the website, then the Instagram is Āether Beauty Co. as well. I also have a weekly blog on the website. So I talk about tons of topics like this. So if you want to learn more, that's a really great resource to go to.
Excellent. And Tiila, before you log off, if you could private chat me those in the console on the right, I will make sure we send those to everyone who's participating right now. And Donna, your turn.
Yeah, so you can reach out to me at Donna@makinglemonade.co. I'm always super excited to receive emails from you. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. And then you can also follow us on Instagram as well at @makinglemonadeco. And super excited to have been here. And thank you so much for listening to me chat again. And also for Tiila for joining me and taking time out of her very busy schedule as a one-woman show over there to join me on this chat, because it's been amazing. And I wanted you guys to all experience the beauty of Tiila, because I just love her brand and who she is as a person. So very happy to bring her on with me as well. So thank you, Tiila, and thank you everyone else.
Excellent. Marvelous, ladies. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for sharing.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.